Alright guys, this is my voiceover, or some of it, of my race at the KCA Club Challenge in Joliet, Illinois. It's the ending of my season, so I'm not going to, go crazy. I'm just here to learn and get some ideas for next year. Next year's a big year. And so, yeah, I'm going to show you kind of some of the footage and see what I can do better, of course, and kind of give you my thoughts and ideas going into this race. There's only 4 of us during this race, so it was pretty short, for sure. Alright guys, welcome to the first practice session of my day at KCA. It was really interesting. I'm going to be honest with you. Going into this race, I thought I had the notes and the setup for the track. I did not go into the first practice session. And thank God we had a practice session, because if we didn't, I don't know what would have happened. Because I was super off the pace. So off the pace in my first practice session. You can see everyone was just passing me left and right. I was last place in time out of like 40 people. It was pretty bad. But then, and again, this setup was just not near anything what it needed to be. And then literally the next practice session, practice 2, I go from 40th to 10th. Just off some basic setup. So I had the pace. It was just a really bad setup. I felt like I was on ice skates the whole time. And you can kind of see that. You just see it as hard to see from a front view. But you can kind of see the front end kind of get out. You can see the rear kind of step out as much as you can from the front view. It was a rough one. So I'm gonna show you, the last lap, and see, I got a little quicker, but still pretty bad. And then you're gonna see, of course, the improvements that I dropped about. I think we started at 46, the horrible 46. We finished at 42, I think. A lot of time dropped just by, track warmth and good setups, and me, of course, driving this track. It's the first time I ever drove this track. So yeah. To the qualifying for the challenge race. A lot to speak on it. It was a good race, or a good quality. The only big problem that I had, because I actually qualified P3 of 4. Now, there wasn't a lot in our race, so really in my class, in the whole entire race itself, there was about 40 drivers. I think I qualified like mid-pack, but of course, with the Ignite series, we use these hard compound tires, so we don't have as much grip as some of the other LO206 drivers that have these softer compound tires, which can grip more to the surface, of course, and they're stickier, so they can go through corners a little bit quicker than we can. So with that being said, and pretty cool here, you have like a double, you get to see kind of both my views from my front onboard and then my left onboard on how I'm driving, and it was a good quality, really strong for not being in a tow. And the reason I got third, because actually in the second practice session, I actually finished P2 of 4 in my heat, or in my class. I think about 3/10 off from the top guy. Still had some adjustments I had to make. The problem was third and fourth that were behind us, and if you saw the stagger start, so we wouldn't get a slipstream. Actually, whatever happened, third place, when he was coming out, he actually slowed down a lot, resulting in third and fourth to get closer to each other. And with that being said, especially in these low horsepower karts, getting a slipstream is huge. And you're seeing that's why I'm ducking my head down and stuff. And getting a slipstream is pretty much what a slipstream is. If you do not know as well, is it is a pocket of air. And what happens is when two karts or two vehicles going at a really high rate of speed, the guy behind the front vehicle, so the second vehicle, can sit behind him and enough or get right behind him. The first vehicle is punching the air with its mass, and with that, there is less wind resistance, drag. So you're going through, pretty no air at all because that wind and air is being punched through, creating a pocket. So you're in a no pocket wind resistance. So it bumps you up about 1 or 2 miles an hour, and that's enough, especially on the straightaway, to make a difference. So the reason I qualified P3 of 4 was because actually the guy in front of me too, he qualified 4th. He was the slowest out of the 4 because we didn't have a slipstream. You can see we're too far from each other. So yeah, the qualifying was good. Had a good fast session. I'll show you some highlights of it. And we'll get onto the heat race. Alright guys, this is my voiceover for the final, or not final, heat race. This is going to go right for the final. Came into here, I think I qualified, P3. As I spoke about on that, decent qualifying session, but again, nothing really can do when you don't have a tow. So, here on the outlap, we're going to get a double footage here, and we're going to switch the views. Where, so you're going to see my third person view and then my feet view. You also notice that the GoPro slanted down a little bit too much. You can really only see, you can see more of my feet in the nose cone than you can of the actual race. It's my bad. Something interesting here is that they actually mash up another class, because of course I'm doing the Ignite Series class, but they also have another class that's doing this. And the funny thing enough is they put us all in the same row, and it's interesting because some of the Ignite drivers are actually faster than these senior master finals for the 206. The problem is that now we have to fight through traffic and fight through our own class, so it's a very interesting drive. I actually don't do horribly, but again, as you notice, look at the battling here. It's pretty fierce. I really enjoy it. I love the battling, and you can just see everyone's just jostling for position early, and it's really hard. I just get shuffled through. And that's just kind of part of it with these 206s. But as I settle down, it's actually pretty interesting. The problem is I battled this one guy for way too long, and and also setup and everything. But yeah, you're just gonna watch just the pace here, and yeah, it's a good one. I start third, finish third with some crazy battling. through the field. I don't really want to get too onto it because there's not really too much about it, but I had a really fun time on this run and learned a lot again, and that's kind of the whole moral of the story of this weekend. Also do want to inform you that I will also have like a little vlog added to this portion, so you can see a kind of like what I'm talking about there. So I might repeat some things about, you know, the racing and everything, and so yeah. Alright guys, I forgot to inform you about the race I'm doing today. It's the Heart Circuit Autobahn club race. Give some extra time, and it's a good seat time. Here it is. I just finished the pre-final, finished third of 4. My greatest result. Got a last lap pass, and I got caught up, and the guy did a better exit. But the amount of adjustments I've done this weekend has been good, and learned a lot. I think I can go and win this race. It just got to come down to being consistent and not letting the first place guy run away. And that's kind of what happened. I fought with second place for about 10 laps. It was a very long battle, and I just got the short end of the stick. So yeah, we're gonna think about it. It's a 22 lap race. It's gonna be long, and the practice looks good. I got quicker, got up to speed, but yeah, we're going to have to for sure do some adjustments, getting our tire pressures down. But we're going to get there and hopefully do well. I'm working with Nathan. I was talking more about him later after the race. But yeah, I think I can go out and win this race. I really do. I just have to get the adjustments right. So yeah, I will show you guys the footage, and hopefully I win. I think I can. Alright guys, welcome to the final for this session, or final for the day. Finished starting P3. At this time we're in our own little group here, so it makes it a little helpful when it comes to driving out. So I dive into this, I have the inside lines to take it in. An interesting thing about how, again, something I don't really understand how it makes any sense, but this guy's pretty much drifting the cart around the corner. Don't really understand how that works, but I guess, again, all these club racers, they know exactly what to do with these carts around this track. So, again, this was my first time driving on this layout, and my second time driving ever here at this track. A lot of these drivers I'm racing against, again, drive here, if not in the owner carts in the rental leagues, if not there. You can just see he just runs away, right? Almost a second gap. And for me, too, also dealing with that issue that I set our pressures wrong, where I lost a lot of grip early. So you're actually going to see that me struggling to keep the cart down, while people behind me have so much more grip. They hit their pressures right. And then, of course, Yeah, me not really learning how to drive this track correctly with this elevation change and everything from maybe not pushing my engine as much as I could have because of elevation, and that's something I learned. That was a big one I learned about clutch setup and elevation changes being a big role in how your clutch activates. But as I'm going through here, you know, I'm finishing, I think this was the second last turn, the final turn in the lap 2, I think. Finishing here. I'm pretty sure I'm trying to tell them, hey, can you guys sit with me and we get to the first one? But really, I knew that in time that wouldn't happen because I'm just struggling for grip. I do not have the third-person view, and sorry about that. We had an issue with that GoPro during this race, so I only get to show you the front end. The front end's not bad, though. And you can actually see what's going on. But really, that was something interesting about it. As we just come up to here. Not a lot. Just going through here. Just trying to stay poised. This is a long race. So I've actually cut down the race a little bit. This is a 22-lap race. So our plan going to this race was we're going to set it a little lower. A little bit of extreme. If we had maybe added a pound, it would have been perfect. But we're going to set it a little lower so we won't find grip until the last 12 laps. But everyone else with their setups would lose, you know, grip. And it was true. You know, by the end of the race, I was second fastest of the 4. So, I mean, the setup worked. But maybe we could have added a pound so I wouldn't be so slow on this early phase. You can just see here. He's going to have to go for the pass there. I just didn't have it. So I tried to go for a pass. I don't know what I was trying to do. I mean, I just don't have it. And look at how much you can just slide through that section. I mean, I actually have a decent exit here, but again, it's not going to do anything. I agree with them. I'm going to try to push forward to the other guy. I just didn't have the pace. Just did not have it. So that's something... I don't really say pace setup wise, and just look at that. I go wide, lose a lot of time, and I go super shallow here, and you just look at that exit. He's gaining almost 4 tenths there, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths. So that was something I'm gonna learn for my next race. So actually, my next race in a couple days while recording this. I'm gonna shut up now. Let you guys just watch it. Also, at the end of the race, you're gonna see me fall off hard. My vacuum hose falls off, and in result, I have to be slow through the line. You're gonna hear me devastated and sad, but I'll just let you guys watch the race, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for listening to this.
trying.